play. Play.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the WTA Power Ranking for Roland Garros 2025. It's a talking tennis tradition. We usually do a power ranking ahead of it, and we are the leading power rankings for the WTA on YouTube. So let's get cracking because we've got a few names to get through. Two honourable mentions who aren't in the top 10, Jessica Pegula and Elena Rybakina. I think that they're players with potential to make an impact on the second week, but they haven't showed it during the clay season so far. What will be interesting is how they both do in Strasbourg, which is underway at time of recording. Rybakina coming through pretty easily today. We'll wait to see how Pegula does tomorrow. Right, top 10 proper. Let's go. Number 10, Marta Kostyuk. Marta's been getting a few decent wins on clay this year, and Aryna Sabalenka will say that she's playing very, very well, having pushed the world number one pretty strongly. Kostyuk is playing really, really good tennis on clay right now. I think that she will be a dangerous draw for pretty much everyone in the French Open, and she's going to be one to watch. So for me, Marta Kostyuk, number 10. Number 9, Madison Keys, Australian Open champion. She's mainly here because of that. She is one of the form players of 2025, but a quarterfinal run in Madrid and a past semi-final at Roland Garros isn't something that should be ignored. Number 8, Song Qinwen, the defending Olympic champion, last person to win a title at Roland Garros, well, the Roland Garros site, as that's where the Olympics was last year, and she suddenly clicked into gear in Rome. Maybe there's glimmers of hope. She's finally beaten Sabalenka, got off a hold in that rivalry, pushed Coco Gauff. You know, her game loves clay with all her heavy topspin strokes. She is a contender at this year's Roland Garros. Number 7, former Roland Garros champion, as she reminds us in Stuttgart, Jelena Ostapenko. Deserves to be in the power rankings just for the Stuttgart title alone. The fact that she's a former champion helps a lot, and she kind of backed this up with a good run to the last 16 in Rome. Ostapenko is a legitimate threat in Paris. Number 6, the real outside contender, Alina Svitolina. Now, Svitolina is actually the tour leader on clay at the moment. She's won 12 matches on European clay. No one else has, unless you count Sabalenka's walkover against Potapova in Stuttgart. But obviously, Svitolina's title in Rouen, deep runs in Madrid and Rome. She's looking really, really good. Again, probably, arguably, has one of the biggest momentums coming into Roland Garros. It's a tournament she's been tipped to win before in her career. Let's see what kind of impact she makes. I think that she could stun some people here at Paris. So we've rattled through 10 to 6 really, really quickly because we're now into the top 5, which is what most of you are here for. And what's interesting about this is that there's reasons not to put any of these top 5 at the number 1 spot in the power rankings. But there's also lots of good reasons too. And there's pros and cons to it. I'm just going to run through them. Let's look at current number 1 seed, Aryna Sabalenka. You know, she's the form player. You have to get through her to win tournaments at the moment. She's regularly reaching finals. Why wouldn't she be the favourite? Well, she's more vulnerable on slower clay. And when you look at her previous results over the last couple of years where she's been at her strongest, it's pretty clear to see that she loses matches she wouldn't normally lose. But at the same time, you have to see that she's someone who will always go at least quarterfinals or semifinals at Roland Garros. You've got to put it in the mix. Coco Gauff has lost to the Roland Garros champion the last 4 years, be it Krejcikova or Swiatek, who she's played 3 years in a row at Roland Garros now. How many times would she have won Roland Garros if Iga wasn't in the draw? I'd say at least 2. Is this her chance? But you've also got to look at sort of how up and down her form can be and how confidence-based her game is, and it's really unpredictable. You've got Jasmine Paolini, who's coming in effectively on a winning streak after winning Rome and primed, having won probably the tournament's closest in terms of conditions to Roland Garros. But she's literally just caught fire. So we have no idea how long that fire's been burning for. Mira Andreeva, last year's semi-finalist at Roland Garros. Lots of potential. Again, one of the stars of the year, consistently making herself a title contender. 2 quarterfinals, losing both to Coco Gauff, Madrid and Rome, on clay. But is she ready yet? And then, of course, there's the Iga Swiatek, 4-time champion. She's going for her 4th in a row. And yet she's only won 6 matches on clay this year and is looking very, very out of form. Which matters more, her Roland Garros history or her form now? Oh, well, I'm going to say what I think here, but it's up to you to decide, because I think if you put any of those 5 players as your number 1 in your own personal power ranking, I find it very difficult to argue against that. But this is where I've landed based on the data that I've put together as to who the most likely is based on who's won previous Roland Garroses. So, here we go. Number 5, Mira Andreeva. I've said what I need to say about her already. She is in form. She is one of the stars of 2025. Her game comes alive on slow clay. She has a lot of potential to win this tournament. Her clay results have been lacking a little bit, and that's what's dragged her down the ranking. Number 4, Jasmine Paolini. Have to put her in the mix here. She's very close behind the top 3. She's been to the Roland Garros final last year. She's got a very, very good chance of getting back there and maybe even going one better. Matchups are possibly the biggest thing for her. Maybe also the fact, again, as I said, she waited until Rome to really catch fire. So that's restricting her ability to really push up the rankings, but Paolini is a contender, make no mistake. Number 3, Iga Swiatek. I know, who would have thought we'd be putting Iga Swiatek as the third favourite for Roland Garros? This is harkening back to 2021 when it was a debate as to whether Barty or Swiatek or Sabalenka was the favourite. Iga hadn't really grown into herself at that point. Or even 2023 when we were wondering if Sabalenka and Rybakina had caught her. Well, it's very much a mix now. Swiatek has dropped back into the pack and is looking very vulnerable. The thing is, I can't drop it too much lower because our Roland Garros history is setting her on a very high standard. And if she's going to turn it on anywhere, Roland Garros is one of the most likely places it's going to happen. Rome was the other, which is why there's some doubt. But Swiatek has been saying, give her 2 weeks. She builds confidence on the surface. Watch out. Look what happened when she gained in confidence after beating Osaka last year. She's being held back by the data, but there's no reason not to be confident. But we have to favour form more than history right now. Number 2, Coco Gauff. And to be honest, if Coco Gauff had won either of the titles that happened, that she was in the final of, Madrid and Rome, she would be number 1 on the list. I am genuinely thinking it's a case of when, not if, Coco Gauff wins a Roland Garros. Health and fitness permitting. She's definitely a contender. Her base game is so high that she can win playing not her best, and that's heightened on clay. Her game really, really suits the surface with her spin that she can generate on mainly the forehand and her athleticism being able to extend rallies. She is a title contender, but again, there's these things that have happened that have held her back a little bit, which is why, despite reservations about the fact that she is probably more vulnerable at Roland Garros than any other Grand Slam in the year, it's Aryna Sabalenka who's my number 1 in the power ranking. Sabalenka has won Madrid, maybe ran a gas a little bit in Rome, final in Stuttgart, one of the tour leaders on clay wins this year, and let's face it, tour leader in pretty much everything in 2025 so far. Even if she doesn't have a slam yet, I think a Roland Garros title would basically put her very high up the all-time list. It would solidify her legacy as an all-time great, although I think she's already got it. She has to be the favourite because you can count her getting deep in the tournament and being a contender in a way that you maybe can't say with the others. So there you go. Right now, for Roland Garros 2025, Aryna Sabalenka is the favourite. So there you go. That's the list. To recap, number 10, Marta Kostyuk. Number 9, Madison Keys. Number 8, Sun Qinwen. Number 7, Yelena Ostapenko. Number 6, Elina Svitolina. Number 5, Mira Andreeva. Number 4, Jasmine Paolini. Number 3, Iga Swiatek. Number 2, Coco Gauff. And number 1, Aryna Sabalenka. It's 3 consecutive slams. She's topped a pre-slam power ranking. Watch out Wimbledon, I guess, but we're not there yet. We're at Roland Garros first, and there's lots of excitement to come at this year's Roland Garros. I'm super excited to see how this WTA draw plays out, and I'm excited to find out what the draw is going to be on Thursday. So check out Talking Tennis's live show. We'll be reacting to everything, and I'll be doing a full breakdown of the draw on WTA Weekly on Saturday. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you again soon. In the meantime, take care and keep talking tennis.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Good afternoon, good evening. Can you hear me? I hope you can. Hopefully you'll see me in a moment. Let me just fix this. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Clean shaven. Looks good on Nick, says Tracer. Well, I am not clean shaven. I'm looking forward to welcoming the clean shaven Fergus, though. I can see something backstage, but it does look like his device is not yet connected, but he will be with us shortly, no doubt. Yeah, what do you think of the power rankings that we have zooming across the bottom of the screen, both the ATP and the WTA one? I'm just waiting for the draw ceremony to commence. It is supposed to commence in approximately 2.5 minutes, but supposed to commence being the operative word. That does tend to happen. It looks like there's only a chance I can get the link on here. Yes, there is. Just a second. Yeah, just a second, Fergus. I'm going to send him the link so he can join us too. I think Brenner and maybe Damien will be with us as well. We'll see on Damien. I know he'll be knee deep in qualifiers. I think he said something along the lines of he would join if the third round was not yet underway. But I know they've had some rain there and all sorts of other things going on. Anyway, there we go. Fergus should be with us in a moment. What else did I want to address? Hi, Jean. Good to see you. I want to know what you are most looking forward to, all of you in the live chat, on Instagram as well. We've got people tuning in there, on Twitter. I think Zverev. Where will Alexander Zverev fall in the draw? Now, I know he's scratching around for form, but his pedigree at the French Open is insane. Semi-final in 2021 before a 5-set loss to Stefanos Tsitsipas. So very, very nearly in his first Grand Slam final as it would have been then. 2022, the painful heartache of the ankle ligaments injury that he picked up against Rafa Nadal. We will never know how that match may or may not have panned out had that injury not taken place. I know that Damien is of the belief that he would have actually gone on to win that particular encounter, but that is unknown. I can see Brenner and Ferguson backstage, or they are now front stage, but I'm in the middle of a sentence here that could last anything between 3 seconds and 3 minutes. So let's see how we do with this. Alexander Zverev, where is he going to fall? I'm particularly interested because of his pedigree at the French Open and not his recent form. Pedigree and recent form is going to be very much the theme when it comes to one or two other players as well. And you can probably guess who I'm referring to. There's a lot of commas in this sentence, and I'll see if I can keep going without needing to grasp more air, although I think I will have to. But yes, Zverev pedigree, 2024, of course, French Open final as well. So I'm very intrigued to see where he will fall. And of course, the other one is the Iga Swiatek question as well. Where will she fall and in which quarter? Because she is seeded 5. Fergus, what are you most intrigued about regarding this upcoming draw?
I think obviously probably the biggest story is maybe Iga. Obviously won it 3 times in a row, and now she's looking to make it 4, but she doesn't have her own quarter. She's gonna have to play one of the big women in the quarterfinals, which is a big blow for her. Because the chance that she gets sabotaged, I mean, she's got a 1
It's
in
a blow
4
for her, it's a blow for her, but it's also a blow for maybe some other people potentially in the draw, right?
Well, yeah, you think about that, but we could have a Sabalenka-Swiatek quarterfinal, which is a bit disappointing, to be honest. Like, you were kind of hoping that that's the final in a way, but Yeah, I think obviously Swiatek, and then obviously Zverev's obviously a huge kind of story. I think time is very quickly running out for Zverev to win a slam. Obviously, Sinner's back, but there's still, I would say, on the clay, maybe if you took both of their best results, you would still say Zverev is more profound on the clay than Sinner is. And also Djokovic. I'm super curious. Obviously, he's been in terrible form. Obviously, won in Geneva yesterday. But just to see if he really is that he's only going to turn up for the slams and give it everything he's got 4 times this year. But yeah, those are the 3 things that I'm most looking forward to.
What about you, Brenner? I can see the ceremony's underway, but anyway, go on, Brenner. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Fergus checked all the easy boxes. I'll try and go with a different route. I think about, Yao Fonseca. Where is he going to fall? It'll be his second major ever and second of the season. And then, another guy that's, a big name in France, but Arthur Fils. Where can he land? How much damage can he do? He proved himself that he's become a much better clay court player, and having the crowd behind you can do some damage. So I'm curious to see where he lands.
Yeah, I think probably the even bigger question than ever, because of where Iga is at, both in terms of her seeding, but also in terms of her form. And I also think on the men's side, has already been highlighted in the form of Novak Djokovic. I think their first round opponents could be very interesting. Now, they may get a wild card who is basically here at the tournament to say farewell, and someone who maybe Novak or Iga has an incredible head-to-head against. And other than being a bit of a show, might not be anything special. But let's just have a look at who Novak Djokovic, for example, but this is for all, of course, seeded players, could play in the first round. But I just think that the longer the tournament goes, the more Djokovic will grow into it, unless, of course, he has a bunch of, difficult 5-setters. Let's have a look at some of these unseeded players on the men's side that include Talon Griekspoor at the top. I see Mickelson has just squeezed in, probably since Berrettini's withdrawal, which was a breaking news story that emerged a couple of hours ago. Either one or two of them I'll be aware of. Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. So Griekspoor is the highest ranked. Yeah, I think he's a danger, and one that probably Novak and Novak's fans would like to avoid. Now, of course, I'm highlighting Novak. I just think that, Carlos and Yannick, no, I think that'll be fine. Probably Zverev too. The drama then comes around the form of the 24-time Grand Slam winner. So I just think Jiri Lehecka as well, who's right now in action, I think, in a Hamburg quarterfinal.
I think he might have lost to Etcheverry.
Oh, okay. He was against Etcheverry. Yeah. So Etcheverry then suddenly becomes maybe a former quarterfinalist.
Yeah. 5-3. 5-3 to Etcheverry.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm still seeing the ceremony.
Yeah, I mean, Lehecka, Baez even, these are players that can play at a very strong level on this surface. And
yeah, but Baez in Paris it's a weird one. I know, there are differences, particularly between green clay and regular clay, but there are subtle differences between South America, but his results are so stark that, yeah, it's one, but I'm looking more at Griekspoor. Normally I would include Martinez, but his form is wretched at the moment. Darderi is all about health. If he's healthy, for sure. He's beaten Novak before on this surface. Bublik, I think, could be a first banner in the works.
He's in good form.
Yeah, won a challenger last week, of course. Marujan is a box of tricks. Sorry, Darderi, of course, is healthy. I'm getting confused with Tabilo, who's got some health questions. But yeah, Darderi is dangerous for sure. And then Mr. Fonseca, Brenner.
Yep. You definitely don't want to see him. I think I'm more intrigued to see his level across a best of 5. more in terms of kind of how he like structures his game plan in terms of going into it. Does he kind of revert back to a little bit more conservative play style, maybe in set 2 or 3, but more so, just continue to bring, high level tennis wherever he goes and, bring supporters with him. So that'll be fun to see as well.
Yeah. On the women's side, as I say, probably the biggest story is the fact that Iga Swiatek will be seeded 5. I'm looking at 2024 because suddenly I saw her at number 1, but that's 2024 rankings. Yeah, so she'll be seeded 5 for the upcoming French Open. But in terms of the unseeded players, anyone that spring to mind, or probably I'll need to share the rankings on the screen for you guys.
On the women's side, yeah.
Yeah, just a second. I was going to get them up.
There are quite a few, aren't there? There's the classic names that kind of pop up, and Osaka. Obviously is one.
Osaka, definitely. If she's unseeded, oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
Danilovic, I think it would be a horrible round 1 for someone.
I mean, I know it's obviously not a favorite surface. I mean, Bencic. I mean, obviously, or Milanet. Even all of these players, the women's game is so compact in a sense that everything is so. I feel like the standard between, let's say 12 to 40, on their day can easily be beaten. They can all easily be beaten.
I think on this surface, you could go from 1 to 100 and things are not. Yeah, of course, Sabalenka. On this surface, it just narrows a bit. If this was grass or hard court, you'd be looking at Sabalenka on her own. You'd look at Pegula up near the top and so on and so forth. But I think on this surface, for one reason or another, because a lot of those top players come down a little bit, particularly Arena. She doesn't have a gap like she would have on other surfaces. In fact, there may even be no gap at all as far as some of you may be concerned. So that suddenly bunches it up. You get a few that are ranked 4, 5, or 6, perhaps like a Paolini, that maybe go up a notch or 2 on this surface compared to her opponents. Iga would normally the gap would be vast for her, but we all know where she's at in her form. So I think there's a lot of bunching up. And then suddenly some of these players that are pretty good on clay, and Danilovic in particular springs to mind, suddenly sort of, as I say, contracts the group. Brenner.
Yeah, and you could even keep scrolling, and there's Danielle Collins.
Right. Yeah.
She's another one. Osario's right there too. So, yeah, I mean,
Raducanu.
Raducanu, even if
Uchijima.
If the back isn't a problem.
Yeah, indeed. If the back's okay, which fingers crossed it will be. Yeah. Who's withdrawn on the men's side? We had Goffin. We had Berrettini.
Jerry Shang and Zhang Zhixin.
Yeah, Zhixin, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Zhixin Shang. Yeah. Four losses, one very different reasons, but Berrettini is particularly painful. I mean, he played
5 now, isn't there?
Is it 5?
Yeah, I think someone else withdrew with Berrettini as well.
Someone else is withdrawn today. Okay.
Yeah, I think 2 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. Have a look. If you see the draws started, because I've got my volume down, although I can see now some players are being placed on the women's side at least. Okay, so this is the first round. So we've got some first rounds coming up. We've got Collins against Burridge.
Who is that, sorry?
Collins against Burridge.
That will be 1-1.
Yeah, on this surface. I mean, that's not Collins' best surface, but it's certainly not
Burridge's.
Yeah.
So,
Russo Sorio.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Collignon's also.
Rafael.
Yeah. He withdrew with Berrettini this morning.
Kvitova, Golubic.
Kvitova. We'll see.
Of course, there's qualifiers that still have to be placed. Iala plays Arango. Well, it's winnable.
That's a clash.
Tomjanovic against Joint, all Australian affair. Sigmund against Bondar. I don't know if you guys are watching or not. Are you just relying on
I
me?
am. I'm trying to keep
Some drama. Dollarhide against Minen. I don't think this is Minen's best surface, but then it's probably not Dollarhide's either. Christian against Birel. Raducanu against Jinyu Wang.
Okay.
It's okay.
That's fine, as long as your back's okay.
Right? Yeah, that'll be okay as long as her back's okay.
She just needs some wins. Not that she's doing fine. I'm just saying.
I was about to say, it's not like she actually.
Yeah, I know. It's not like she's not won for 6 months. I know.
Season. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that came across. So these are all first rounds. Of course, you might be wondering where the seeds are. Well, they have yet to be placed. They will be placed shortly. Lehman's against Kruger. Okay.
Interesting.
Volley nets will come up against a qualifier. Jean against Begu. Roos against Kessler. Of course, once those seedings are placed, we'll start to go, oh my goodness, Ostapenko, Iga, round 4. Avanesian against Kalinina.
Katie Bolt has got a qualifier.
Vondrousova making her return to the tour, also gets a qualifier, of course, former French Open finalist. And of course, Wimbledon winner.
Harry's got Montgomery first round.
Azarenka, Wickmeyer, Parry, Montgomery, yes. Kudermetova, Tomova. There's not one that's really got me going, oh my goodness.
Stuck out, yeah.
No, not yet. I mean, of course, once those seeds will land, it might be a bit more. But normally there's one or two amongst the unseeded players. Kartal against Erika Andreeva.
That'll be fine.
So Gadetsky will be either an opponent for Coco Gauff or Arina Sabalenka. We know that.
Top 8 seeds on the men's side. Who's number 8? Casper? Oh no, it's Musetti, isn't it?
Yes, Musetti.
Musetti.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Musetti's 8, Casper 7, Novak 6.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just going to share some of those round ones with you on the screen right now. For those of you just tuning in, do hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, do hit subscribe. So we're going to have a little pause, I think, before the seeds are placed.
They're interviewing Dembele.
I was then going to say, is that Ousmane Dembele? Yeah.
That is. Yes.
Love it.
I actually agree with you, Dave. I think they should take out buys from Masters.
Yeah, I think I would go with that too.
I think they should all Masters should be round of 64. They should all be 64, and there should be no buys.
I might want to do, depending on time, might hone in on 3, 4, 5 matches for previews.
Previews, yeah,
so
nice.
Start doing your homework on Arango and Jinyu Wang as well, because they're the two that I'm probably thinking about amongst. It doesn't. These can be pretty short. It can be a 2-minute one. You know, I think I did a 1.5-minute one the other day.
Yep.
But
Well, if Sinner pulls Fonseca first round, I'm sure we'll be.
oh yeah, and that'll be longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
We did a 25-minute one. Pretty much as soon as the draw was wrapped, we pre-recorded it, I think, from memory, on 25 minutes on Fonseca against Rublev, round 1.
Oh right, yeah.
There were so many narratives with Rublev's sort of vulnerability and everything else there, and I think it was even one that you don't predict draws, but I even joked about ahead of the draw coming out. It's like, that'd be funny.
I predicted it too, John. I knew it was coming. You saw Rublev there in a qualifier, you knew it was Fonseca.
Yeah. So that was an epic one.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be epic. I mean, obviously it was straight sets, but it turned out to be notable, one of the more notable matches of the year for sure. So Sabalenka goes at the top, and she'll play Rakhmova, and Coco Gauff gets Gadetsky, as I suggest there was a 50-50 chance of happening. So Gauff is in the bottom half. See if you can remember these, audience, as I start referencing halves and quarters later on. Jasmine Paolini gets Yu Yuan in the first round. She's in the second quarter, I think. Pegula gets Todoni.
Again. Is this the highest Pegula's been ranked for a slam? Surely.
Maybe. And yet I still feel as though her form is scratchy. I mean, obviously it depends on where you're picking up points and defending them. I mean, I think she won Charleston, did she?
She lost yesterday to Kalinskaya.
Yeah.
Pavlyuchenkova, former finalist here against Qin Wenjiang.
That should be very interesting. 5. Swiatek Shramkova.
Okay. Miran Zverev against Buxa. Alison Keys gets a qualifier. Of course, exceeded 7. On for the calendar slam. That's where she's going to begin her French campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, slightly tongue-in-cheek. I mean, to play, she's really good, but yeah, her form has dipped, obviously.
Yes. Well, I mean, it'd be hard for it not to, right?
Indeed. Yeah, she was unbeaten for the first, I'm going to say, 15 matches maybe the year, something like that.
Yeah, she was. She was 15-0. Yeah.
Rebekina Bencic. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah.
That's the entire round so far.
Badosa Osaka.
Badosa Osaka first round?
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Badosa Osaka first round. Wow.
I'm just interested to see where Badosa is at, because she's playing in Strasbourg right now.
Yeah. Wow. Badosa Osaka and Bencic Rebekina.
Well.
And Samova gets a qualifier. Do keep an eye on the bottom of the screen where you can see John's and Damien's, or I should say John, myself, and Damien's ATP power rankings, and also Nick's WTA. What's that? Who's Svitolina got?
Svitolina got Zvein of Summers.
Oh, okay.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, indeed. Krejcikova comes up against Tatiana Maria, of course, a former champion, adult two-time Grand Slam champion. Be a lot of slicing and dicing in that one. A few moonballs too, maybe.
Towson gets Lynette. That should be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That is interesting.
I'm taking Towson for the W there.
Bekic gets Blinkova. Ostapenko Kudermetova. That should be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Should be Elena, but with Elena, you never know.
Yeah. Oh, it's Paulina, though.
Yeah, it's
I don't know if that...
Yeah.
I think Veronica might pose more of a threat, but...
Yeah.
Oh, it's Paulina, okay.
Yeah. Paulina was crazy at the start of the year, though, so who knows?
Yeah. Admire Baptiste. Okay, that's a tricky one for the Brazilian.
Yeah.
Especially with her form.
Yeah, she's picked up a win or two this week, I think, but yeah.
Yes, she has. She's picked up a couple wins in the last couple of weeks, which is really helpful because there was a time where she was just being ran through completely. She was not.
Alexandrova Bronzetti.
Yeah.
To clash.
That. And then Buskova against somebody. Who's Buskova going to get?
Fernandez gets Danilovic. That's a tough one.
Ooh, Layla.
Stearns gets Lees.
That's a lefty-lefty match?
Yes, I don't mind that, actually. Noskova gets Potapova.
Noskova Potapova. Okay, that'll be the hard
Kostrick gets a qualifier. And finally...
Now, Iga is in the same quarter as Jasmine Paolini. Am I right on that? I think so.
We'll find out very soon.
I'm pretty sure. No, I think it's done.
Freck Jabeur. That counts.
So that's good news, I think, for Iga fans.
Gracheva Kenin. That could be interesting.
Keys and Coco in the same quarter.
Finally, Kalinskaya versus Abushkova. And that is the women's draw.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be probably getting it shared on the screen pretty shortly, but I'm 99%. I've just tweeted out there that Iga and Jasmine are in the same quarter. So I'll have to delete that if I'm wrong. And I've got Keys and Coco almost certainly in the same quarter as well. Ooh, okay. But the bit before is more of a concern for Iga because she's got Rybakina or Bencic, because I think that's a first round, isn't it? Rybakina Bencic, am I right on that one?
Correct.
And Ostapenko in her little section. But of course, one of Rybakina and Bencic is going out. So that's that. And Ostapenko is a maybe. I'm just a guess, but I'm guessing that'll be for the fourth round. Let's see if I can get the whole draw up for you on the screen to look at some other potential second rounds, for example. So potential quarterfinals by seeding indeed, yes. So Sabalenka in a potential rematch with her Rome conqueror Qinwen Zheng, Paolini Swiatek, as I said, Pegula Mira Andreeva, Goff against Keys. By the way, this group of 8 players, Pegula and maybe Keys are the most vulnerable. The other 6 you would think have all got, at least in terms of where they're at in their clay form and everything else, and pedigree, that they've all got reasonable chances of making the quarters. But we'll have a look at the broader draw. If you see anything, do give me a shout if you think there's something.
Mm-hmm.
So Ostapenko, round of 16 is Iga's. Julian here, I apologize, I don't know who you are, Julian, but I'm going to share your tweet either way. Ostapenko out of 16, Sabalenka semi-final, Coco final is a nightmare. That's true, but I'd be amazed if Iga gets all the way to the final. I wouldn't be surprised if she avoids 1, 2, or 3 of those.
Yeah, well, you have to remember that Ostapenko, yes, she was champion here in 2017, but she's
Since then, I don't remember her having a deep run.
She's just you literally have zero idea. Well, you know exactly what you're going to get, but you don't know what quality you're going to get from Ostapenko. So, but if if Rostapenko does make it to the fourth
Oh,
round,
if she makes it, then it becomes a real,
it
I'm
becomes
not
a
downplaying it.
really interesting moment. We could be facing a potential 7-0 situation, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, definitely some very good first round matches in there. Osaka Badosa,
Oh,
especially.
wait, Iga might have Raducanu in round 2 as well. Kostyuk round 3. So the quarterfinal aside, the rest is a bit horrible.
Yeah, that's
I didn't realize
not
Raducanu was a potential second round.
that's
Now,
not
this is not me predicting Iga to win that match, but still.
that's not a good draw at all for Iga.
Not where you are at right now with Iga.
No, absolutely not. That's a
And here she
terrible
comes
draw.
into the building.
Yeah, just speaking of Iga, do you reckon she's just looked at her draw and is just like, do you reckon she knows who she's got?
Here goes nothing.
Listen, players like Clara, I mean, Iga doesn't fall into this one, but Clara Burel, Adrian Manarino. Trying to think if there must be one of this. I'm sure there's others. What have they got in common? Do you know? Clara Burel, Adrian Manarino. They're both French, by the way, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Not off the top of my head.
I probably should add a couple more players if I could. Well, I'll tell you what it is. They don't want to know their draw.
Oh, yes.
Do they not?
So
Adrian
that's
doesn't.
probably why they avoid winning Grand Slams. Because if they win a Grand Slam, the following year they're going to have to come back and take part in the draw ceremony.
Yeah.
What's he?
So do they just take it match by match? Yeah, I wonder if Iga was following it on her phone or she had someone telling her outside who she's got. Shramkova. I mean, Shramkova first round isn't exactly
No, I agree.
someone you want. It's not like she's just, well, the possibility that she walks all over Shramkova is still there, like majorly, but there's that's not a situation where you go, yep, it's easy enough. We'll just move on to the round 2. Yeah.
Had a few more ups and downs than years before, she said, regarding her form right now. Need to make it easy in our heads, indeed. Let's see if I can. I keep promising to pick up the full draw, but
I'm looking for it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be there. Probably someone like Jose would have. Jose.
Yeah, I was about to say Jose's probably put it up.
Oh, here's the best look. I'll send it to you guys that I found.
I've got tennis updates as well, doing something. Okay, I think I've got something here. Yeah, here's Sabalenka's quarter. So Sabalenka against Teichmann or a qualifier in round 2. Not bad, I would say, so far for Sabalenka. And then in round 3, she'll be playing one of Collins. Oh, Sabalenka Collins, round 3.
That's what I was going to say. I already took a look at this really quickly. We got a lot of big hitters in this little section. We got Diana Schneider, Anna Samnova, Barthausen. I mean, Lulu San even, if she even gets far. But yeah, Sabalenka's going to have to play a big hitter.
Yeah. Okay, I've got, yeah. Yeah, Tumani is also tweeted out there. Cool. Yeah. And so Jasmine Paolini will be playing, if she wins her first round match, one thing is for sure, she's playing an Australian in the second round in the form of either Tomljanovic or Maya Joint. And then her third round would be against either a qualifier, Chastea, Potapova, or Noskova. This is the quarter, of course, of Iga Swiatek as well. I think we've discussed her potential run at length. Elena Rybakina Bencic, for me, is probably the title round. But Badosa Osaka is certainly a name one, two former top 10 players. And of course, Osaka won 4 Grand Slams and can do things on any given day on the clay. I don't think she's capable of probably winning big tournaments on the clay. Like, I imagine that her trophy cabinet will be absent of 1000s and Grand Slams on this surface, but on any given day, as we saw in the French Open last year, she can do something. Okay, we are now dealing with the men's draw, which is coming out.
All right, here we go.
An all-French affair in Atmane and Gasquet. Lehetska, Jordan Thompson.
Oh, that's an interesting first round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thompson in a major is always interesting. Always an
Yeah.
interesting first rounder. Ooh, a very good clay court matchup.
Gasquet will get all the support, though, despite being up against a fellow Frenchman. Bublik Duckworth.
Fonseca will
for
face a
Bublik.
seed. Fonseca
will play a seed.
Delian Monfils.
Fonseca's playing a seed.
Tien has a seed as well.
Let me tell you now, Djokovic, etc., will be desperate to be playing Tien and not Fonseca.
Absolutely.
Right.
Arnaldi has a seed. So does Diallo.
So does Arnaldi. Well, that's another one that
Greek
Djokovic.
Sport, Giron. That'll be a nice, easy one for Greek Sport. Norrie will face a seed.
That's one that Djokovic et al. Will be keen to draw.
Fernley Wawrinka.
Fernley Wawrinka.
Wow. Oh, Rusevori is playing.
Yeah.
He's getting Kovacevic.
Yeah. Opelka Hichikata.
Oh, they played in Rome.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Manovic Bias.
When it was only 2. I think maybe a breaker and 7-5. Yeah.
Okay, Kecmanovic buys. It's an intriguing one, probably a 50-50.
Yeah, definitely intriguing.
Yeah. Carreño Busta against Comesaña.
Brooksby Faria.
Finalist, of course. Brooksby against Faria. Okay, fingers crossed we get a healthy Faria at the very least.
Yeah, he would win that match.
Winnable. It's winnable.
Majak Medjedovic.
Okay.
Wow.
Copriva Montero.
Borges gets a qualifier.
Or lucky loser. Of course, there's going to be at least 3, maybe more lucky losers. Tabillo against Cazot. Offner against Struff. All German-speaking affair. Just hope Struff is okay physically. I think he's been off for about a year. I know he's playing, but I think he's off.
Yeah.
His movement is off. A bunch of qualifiers playing each other. Echeverry will play a seed. Zizou Bergs will also play a seed as we come towards the end. Jamur will play a qualifier or a lucky loser. Marojan will play Nardi. Okay. It's probably a
Nishikori will have
either Nishikori will play the Sinner or
Sinner
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz, yeah, sorry. Well, not as many standouts as the women's draw, I wouldn't think.
Not yet, but we've got the seeds to be placed now, and remember we said this exact same moment in the women's draw, and then it kind of took off with 3 or 4 big ones.
Alcaraz will have Nishikori first.
Alcaraz gets Nishikori, okay.
Zverev has
Zverev gets
TN.
Dean. I know he lost to TN early, but that's a different
Oh.
But completely different situation.
Yeah.
Fritz gets Altmaier.
Fritz Altmaier. Okay, that's a chance for Altmaier, I think.
Yes, but yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting to see who João Fonseca's getting.
Draper has
Rinderknech,
Rinderknech.
Bellucci.
Oh, he's got Sinner in the quarters.
Who has?
Draper.
Okay. Djokovic
No.
gets McDonald.
Oh, boo.
He gets, oh my God, he gets Mackie. What a joke. All right.
Musetti gets
And
a
then maybe,
qualifier.
and then probably Mute next, which would be.
Rude also gets a
Totally
qualifier.
Still not seeing who Fonseca's getting.
No.
Who is Sinner playing? First round?
Let me look.
Rinderknech.
Demonor gets Jer.
Ooh.
And then Bublik probably second round. Medvedev Nori. Oh my God, not again.
Yeah.
Batista Goot versus Runa. Paul gets a lucky loser.
It's a nice first round for Sinner. I know it's a Frenchman, but
It's
Feast Jarry.
Feast
That's
Jarry.
interesting.
Yeah.
Dimitrov
gets that's a lucky good draw for Grigor. I mean, of course, it depends on the qualifier. I know, but
Tiafoe Safiullin. That's a
Hmm.
grim match. That's a grim match.
Yeah.
Shelton Sonigo. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did meet at Australian Open quarters, I believe.
Yeah.
Was it? No, maybe the
Yeah,
16.
no.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, quarters. It
Shelton
was
won, I think.
Monfils.
Yeah.
Monfils in the round
It was
4.
4. It was all tight.
Yeah. Come on.
We're
We
still
will have a
waiting on.
Yeah, everyone's waiting on the same thing.
Yeah, we are. Rublev is not going to play João Fonseca. He's going to play.
Rublev for Fonseca again.
Yeah, I thought it. I mean, it's getting close. Muller is going to play someone. He's going to play Mensik. Oh wow, that's a hell of a clash.
Oh, backhand battle.
That's a huge clash.
Are we going to get João next?
Oh,
No,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, Cirindalo.
Cirindalo gets Diallo. Okay.
Barricano.
Wow. Zverev just can't avoid Cirindalo.
No.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah.
Mahach gets Huz. Korda gets Darderi.
Korda Darderi. Okay.
Interesting.
Korda will be vulnerable there.
Kachanov Vukic.
Totally.
Kachanov Vukic. Okay. Kachanov former quarterfinal.
Tsitsipas Echeverry.
Ooh, that's a really tough one.
There you go.
I'll go 55-45 on that one, but
I like it. Yeah, Echeverry's starting to hustle. He needs everything to go his way. Maybe gets himself a title this week. Who knows?
Who, Echeverry? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Quarterfinalist here.
Davidovich Fokina gets a lucky
loser.
loser.
Everyone who's not drawing João Fonseca now will be very happy. So, who is going to get Fonseca? And here we go. It's Hurkacz.
Oh. It's tough.
Arnaldi Auger-Aliassime.
That's a tough one to call, yeah. Arnaldi Felix, okay.
Chapo Martinez.
I mean,
Chapo versus Martinez. Okay.
That's
Nakash.
The beginning of the clay court season, I'd have said Chapo's going out, but not now.
Right.
And then Mickelson gets a lucky loser.
He'll be happy with that, at least the first round. And he'll also be happy that he's in the same section as Fritz. Fritz and Mickelson in the same little section there.
Pericard gets Bergs.
Oh, GMP Bergs, yeah.
That is it. Wow.
Okay, so we've got
Fonseca Hubie is the.
Is it? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a seed, so we always knew it was going to be. But because it was a seed, I was starting thinking of Djokovic or yeah. Djokovic was the one, but even a Tsitsipas or somebody else, a Dimitrov, I was starting. So yeah, Hurkacz is good, but given that we knew it was going to be a seed, he was always going to be someone. But any other standouts from that first round, from that first sort of
Feast Jarry should be interesting.
Yep, agree.
Muller Mensik is a big one.
Definitely, yeah.
And Shelton Sonego, I guess. It's also.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Fran Surundula Diallo. Yeah.
Lehechka Thompson should be good. Who did Gasquet get in his last tournament?
I think Marajan Nardi.
You got Atman, Terrence Atman.
Okay.
Powerful player.
All right, well, I'm just going to share what I've got on Twitter, which is just a bunch of matches. And if you're a tennis fan, but you don't know the French Open is happening next week, then you're a tennis fan. You're wondering, I wonder who all these matches are. What's this? Is this Haller? Is this... if this is Haller, it's pretty stacked. Anyway, Fonseca, Hurkacz, as you can see, Feast Jarry, Muller Mensik, Shelton Sonego, Marajan Nardi, just some of the standout matches. I think I've misspelled Arnaldo. I've written. I'm guessing that should be Arnaldi against Felix. Chapo up against Pedro Martinez. Let's do a quick fire thing here. Who's winning, Feast or Jarry?
Feast.
Feast,
yeah. 60-40, 70. Yeah, 70-30. Fonseca, Hurkacz. I think I'm going Fonseca.
Fonseca.
Think so. It's just his clay court form. Muller Mensik, I'm going
Muller.
I'm going Mensik.
Muller.
I'll go Muller. Yeah.
Understood.
Oh yeah, Echeverry Steph. Yeah, thanks for reminding us.
I think Muller Mensik is maybe the closest in terms of
right.
if we were to do a straw poll amongst the talking tennis people, who's winning. Shelton Sonego, Shelton, I think, but
Sonego.
Okay. Marajan Nardi.
Marajan.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, I'm just going to put this in the Talking Tennis group. Who's winning, Muller or Mensik? Let's see. I did get some stuff from Tennis Insights yesterday. Performance, they sent to me in a WhatsApp. I think performance not quite so interesting. Who spends the most time in attack on the men's tour
Fonseca.
this year? Nope.
Fees.
Yes. Did you know that?
No.
Okay.
I promise.
Steele. Okay, so this is basically you are in big trouble in the point, but somehow you.
Isn't it? I think
Tommy Paul.
Isn't it? Is it Medvedev?
Nope. And Medvedev is
Musetti.
No, but good shout.
It might not be like a top player.
Actually, Medvedev is third, so I apologize, Fergus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we have a country?
No, because it's such a. I'm surprised you haven't got it. It's
Alex
the most.
Simonor?
Is it?
Who is the
Alcaraz.
player on the planet?
Alcaraz.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Carlos Alcaraz, talking of which, of course, the reigning champion is talking right now.
I'm excited to come here. Remember the emotions of the feeling that I had last year. did it again. Yeah, the confidence is really high right now.
Confidence is high. You're in trouble when his confidence is high. As long as he doesn't get complacent, which.
Right.
He had injuries, of course, didn't he?
Yes.
I know he had an abductor thing, but doesn't seem to have stopped him too much apart from Madrid this year.
No.
Good that he resisted the temptation in a way to play Madrid, because he must have been not far away, because he was ready for Rome, wasn't he? Which is obviously 2 weeks. But, playing in front of your home crowd must have been a real temptation for him. We saw it with Berrettini, for example. I'm sure that probably he wasn't ready for Rome.
Right.
Well, Berrettini can now focus on his favorite surface, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's good across all three, but you're right. It's
No,
one where
yeah,
he has least opposition. But I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, he also has the most success.
Yeah. All right, listen, headlines of the draw so far on both sides. So Iga's got a pig of a draw with it. She's in the same quarter as Jasmine Paolini, but the rest of the draw is horrible. It could be Raducanu in round 2. I think
in round 3.
Round 4, even Shrankova in round 1. So obviously semis and final is tricky. I think she's in the same half as Sabalenka from memory. So Coco Gauff would potentially be a finalist opponent for her. So that's the huge sort of story on the women's side, I guess, along with some round 1 gems, which include Badosa against Osaka and Bencic against Rybakina. I think possibly for me, Bencic Rybakina is the tie of the first round. Am I missing anything quickly on the women's side? That's a headline.
Not off my head.
No.
No.
Men's side, I've got the potential run to the final of Carlos Alcaraz. Her catch against Fonseca is a round 1 match. Again, Fonseca coming up against a top 10 or former top 10 player in the form of Hubert Hurkacz, just like he did in Australia in the form of Andrei Rublev. What else? Cam Norrie against Daniil Medvedev. Of course, they played each other in Rome recently. Who's Jack Draper got in round 1?
Rindik Nesh.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah, yeah.
Who's Sinner playing in round 1 then? I thought he was playing Rindik Nesh.
You're right. He is playing Rindik Nesh.
Yeah.
No,
I'm looking for Draper right now. Oh,
so
he's playing
Nishikori, by the way, against Alcaraz.
Draper's got Bellucci. Sorry about
Draper's
that.
got Bellucci. That's right. In the first round. Yeah.
I swear.
Regarding Zverev,
yeah, I'm going to have to delete that.
His first round, delete it. Zverev, first round is against Lerner-Teen, which I think on a hard court, I have no idea how that would pan out on grass, but on a hard court, I think would be a really tricky first round for Zverev. Of course, he lost to Lerner-Teen in Acapulco, but I don't see it being a problem at all in Paris. However, he is in the same section as I think as Cerundolo. I'm not sure if Fran Cerundolo is a potential 3rd or 4th round opponent for
Zverev.
Is it 3rd?
I believe so.
Could be. Let's see if I can get the men's draw up, because we've done bits of it, but I haven't really looked at sectors and stuff. I can tell you this, and I could have told you this.
Third.
Go on.
It would be 3rd round.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, getting Cerundolo in your quarter is bad enough, or whatever you want to, call it in your section. But to get him as early as the 3rd round, now there you go. So if you were looking for Zverev to have a tough draw, then yeah, from the 3rd, certainly that 3rd round. Djokovic, I think that's pretty nice. I'm guessing that Pedro, especially as Fernando is Spanish, he's referring to Martinez there as a potential round. But yeah, Mute could get under Novak's skin and, do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. But Novak tends to rise above that. And in fact, he doesn't rise above it. He reacts, but then he wins. Chapeau, I think, would be very, very manageable if it ends up being Chapeau. Pedro Martinez, as I say, his form is really dipped of late at the wrong time for him because this should be his part of the year. Lovely round of 16. I think this is a really nice draw. Now, quarterfinal, you're going to be playing, a fellow top 8 player and quite possibly top 4, and in fact, definitely top 4 if you're seeded where Djokovic is. So, yes, Zverev or Cerundolo there. Of course, he played Cerundo in the 4th round, I think, last year in an epic 5-setter. That ultimately prompted his withdrawal. Yes, Fergus, go on.
We could have, if Fonseca gets past Hurkacz, we could have Fonseca Draper round 3.
Okay, what about Fonseca round 2?
Either Bonzi or Hubert.
Okay.
Herbert, yeah.
Yeah. Not bad then. That's
great. That's great.
Yeah. I think that Fonseca and Draper's got that first round for Draper is he wins it. He wins it, but I would imagine he'll drop a set. Yeah.
I don't know about Bellucci as of late, though, to be honest, John.
Okay.
Then there's Monfils Delian, I think.
Be honest with me, Brendan. That's fine.
I have to be, right?
No, it's fine. I don't know. Maybe I was getting starry-eyed over a couple of wins he had in Marrakesh.
Right. Did he play? He assumed he played Rome. I'm just forgetting on how he did. Let me check.
Who?
Bellucci?
Bellucci. Didn't he go out round?
Oh, he lost to Martinez, so that tells you, John.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow, and Martinez, has not been in great form. Yeah. Okay.
But I'm higher on Martinez than most. So.
Yeah, I don't know what's gone on. I don't know if he's physically off it or there was something wrong and he's just playing through it because this is his moment. I think he had a tiny issue in Estoril, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's not a bad run for Djokovic.
Bellucci hasn't won since Marrakesh.
Oh wow! Okay.
Oh wow!
he played qualies.
So we could well get. I'm just going to put some in these polls in the. I'm doing it in the Talking Tennis one rather than Twitter, just because you get. And I'm fine with the Twitter ones, but you often just get fans going who they want to win. I mean, we did one for Ayala against Covermans. Were you here, Brenna? Was I talking to you about this one? I was talking to someone about it. It might be Fergus. Ayala against Covermans in Huerash. Now, yeah, Ayala did win this match, and it was very winnable for her. But probably it's a 55-45 before the match. 99%.
Yeah,
went for Ayala. So I think we might get a little bit more accuracy from the Talking Tennis thing. Bencic against Rybakina. And I think I'm going to just put one more in there, which will be Hurkacz Fonseca. This is all in the WhatsApp. But by the way, feel free to join us in the live chat and let us know who you think will win these particular encounters.
Yeah, I feel like Fonseca Hubi is like the perfect match. It's not identical, but in a sense to the Rublev Fonseca in terms of, Hubi's actually getting back into form, feeling confident with his body, the backhand's ripping. And then Fonseca, I guess, on the other hand, like didn't have the clay season we thought he would have. So there's kind of some buildup here. And, we're still sitting here thinking, okay, that power can trouble Hubi and it might be a 5-set thriller.
Go on.
At least 4. I'm thinking at least 4 for Hubi Fonseca.
We'll come back to this. We'll hone in just shortly because I don't want to waste any of our thoughts, and we don't have to spend long on it. But it would be nice for me if we get it in nice sort of clean sections, if that makes sense.
Agreed.
Let's actually do this for now. At least I want to just make a note. I'll probably write it in the private chat, so it's not that it's private. It's just so that it helps me remember. What are the matches that I really want to do? Raducanu, who's she playing in the first round?
Wang.
Yeah. So there we go. I also want to do Ayala Arango.
Badosa Osaka.
We can do Badal Osaka, yeah, if we have time, for sure. I'm just thinking, sometimes this can go on forever. And Bencic, Rebecca, and I think that'll do. Oh, we could do Swiatek. It depends how quick we are. Swiatek, I'll put it in brackets against Shramkova. I'll put that in brackets, as in it's not essential, but it would be nice. And then on the men's side, I want Fonseca, Hubi, and we'll go Muller, Mensik. We've already sort of mentioned our predictions. Any other one that, if there's one more on the men's side that we should...
Tsitsipas, Zverev.
Yes. Brilliant. All right. There we go. We'll do that in a few minutes, but I want to just come back to the women's draw and maybe have a look at a few sections. So we've got Sabalenka. Her potential path will be Teichmann or a qualifier. Then I think we'd have to go with... I'm going to go with... So out of these four, I think it's a 3 or maybe even a 2-horse race to play Sabalenka in the third round. I'm going to go with Danilovic or Collins. And you know what? I'm going to go Danilovic to make that third round.
I like it. I
agree. Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah. A year ago, Layla would have been very much in the conversation. 2 years ago, I may well have been tipping her. But she's clinging on to sort of top 30 ranking. And she's good on this surface. I love the way she can defend on this surface in particular, and slide and move. But yeah, the Layla of the US Open final run is quite a way away right now. Towson beats Lynette for me. So we'll go for Towson third round against... We don't know who the qualifier is. So I'm going to go with... I think Towson beats Osorio in round 2. Yep. But that could go either way. I wouldn't be against an Osorio prediction. And I'll go for Towson Anisimova in round 3. But
yeah,
just
that's what I had as well.
Yeah. Give us a shout if you wildly disagree or you love our thoughts here, Fergus. Schneider up against a qualifier. Yeah, this is. I mean, Sheriff is really good on clay, but she has a ceiling. Let's say that's why you look at Sheriff's name on Wikipedia, and there's like a 2,500 125 titles, but Grand Slams. She's probably got her eye on a 125 in the second week of the French Open. Let me tell you that now. If there is one, which it probably is. Schneider Yastremska round 2, interesting potentially.
Yeah, I mean, everything that Schneider's done has given me a lot more confidence in her, or at least on the surface.
Are we going to get Stearns and Zheng in the third round?
I think we have to.
Yeah, very exciting. And that's not great for Qinwen and her fans. I mean, I even think that her first round is... There's probably 50 or so players that Qinwen could have drawn and that she'd rather draw than a former champion. I know Pavlyuchenkova is... She's shown sparks. I think at a US Open, maybe she might have made a 4th round the year before last, but it might have been last year. I'm not sure. But the form that she showed to get to the final is a long way away. Then just having a quick look at this section. Fergus, are we getting Noskova against Paolini? I know what I think already.
I'm going to say yes. I am going to say yes. I'm
saying no. What are you saying, Fergus? Brenner.
Brenner. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no as well.
I'm saying no. Is it tough? For Noskova, that's tough. Potapova, Chastaya, or qualifier? I think it's good for Jasmine.
Chastaya.
Yeah, maybe Chastaya. Maybe even Potapova. I mean, yeah, maybe Noskova too, but it's just a tricky route for Noskova, I think. So I'll go for someone else. Maybe I'll go Potapova. Caroline Garcia. I mean, it's not a bad first round, but oh dear.
Yeah, but Vekic round 2 or Blink. I mean,
are we getting Vekic Svitolina?
Yes. Yeah, I think yeah.
I don't know if I definitely back Vekic, but I don't know how her form is.
I'm not sure about Vekic. I'm not sure.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, I'm not 100% confident in Vekic's form at the moment, but I still think she has enough in the tank to get her to Svitolina Vekic.
Svitolina's getting there, I think.
Oh, 100%. I don't have any doubts about that.
Ooh, 100%.
Garcia, I think Garcia could make
she could
make a surprise little run.
Just there's unlike other years, there's zero expectation on Carolina. Maybe that might help. Are we getting Rybakina Ostapenko?
No.
I'm saying no as well.
No.
Ostapenko's draw is pretty good for her because the problem Ostapenko has is that vulnerability. She's sort of all or nothing in terms of making a final or not at all. But there's normally like a sticky one in the first round or two that you go, she could lose, and then she does. But here, I don't think she can. So I think she's getting it. For me, it's Rybakina Bencic, which is. Let's have a look to see what people have written in Talking Tennis so far on that one. I've not voted as yet. We've got. I'm going to go Rybakina. I'm going to go Rybakina. I'm going to say we are going to get it. Rybakina against Ostapenko, but not a great deal of confidence. Kostyuk, Swiatek, are we getting that?
Yeah, I just feel like Kostyuk's someone you never want to see at this point, or that early even. No, it'll be third round. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say we'll see them third round.
Sorry, I just got a WhatsApp of importance, but Kostyuk, Swiatek, I'm going with that. But it depends on who the qualifier is. But yeah, I'll say we're going to get it. Are we going to get Mira Andreeva, Yulia Putintseva?
Yeah,
I'll go with
yes. But
because we don't know who the qualifiers are.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough to say.
Are we getting Kasatkina?
No, we're not. No, we're not.
No, I don't think so. That's not a bad draw for Kasatkina. Double specialist, of course, doubles world number one, I think.
She is, Siniakova.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting. I don't like Kasatkina on clay at all. Sorry, Daria. Have a nice grass court season and hard court too, but yeah, I'm not
exactly.
But Dossett, the main issue is injuries and all sorts. So, and just not played really for a while. So, yeah, I'm going to go with no. We may well see Naomi in round 3 against.
It's more with Kasatkina's draw is actually quite nice, but I think Osaka gets past Badosa is what I'm thinking. So yeah, we won't get that.
Yeah, Gene here highlighting Putintseva rough form.
Yeah, Putintseva has been in terrible form. Yeah,
it's a pity because this time last year she was really motoring on both clay and grass.
Yeah, she was absolutely flying.
I think this like bottom section. I mean, even like kind of from the middle down. Yeah, it's pretty messy. I really don't know who's going to come out.
Mukova health, but we could get Mukova Sakkari and a repeat of the 2023 first round. Could get that in the second round. In fact, I think it's if Mukova's okay physically, she beats Parks, and Sakkari at least is getting some wins. I don't want to quite go as far as return to form, but she's getting some wins. And again, maybe a lack of expectation. So we might well get that as a second round. Are we going to get Mukova Mertens third round?
I'm not convinced.
I'm going no because I put probably both players at about 50-50 to make it, which together makes it less likely. Are we getting Frech against Pegula?
No.
I'm going no as well. I'm going no. Interesting, by the way. We could. It's, these two players are just not playing and not winning enough to give it any confidence. But we could get a Wimbledon final repeat in the second round with Ons Jabeur against Marketa Vondrousova.
Yeah, is this her first event back?
Vondrousova's first event back, yes. Jabeur has either been injured or just losing.
She's been injured, I think. Oh
Okay.
no. She has just been.
I think she's had a stop-start year, but I think some of those stops, or in fact, a lot of them have just been early losses rather than injuries. And this is. I'm not sure if it was you, Fergus. Maybe I'm mishearing something, but Chopin's pretty good on clay. It's probably her second best surface.
No.
I might have misheard it. Then maybe I dreamt it that somebody said, not her best. Well, I mean, grass is her best surface. But,
by a mile.
Yeah. Mainly because of the lack of competition or the way the competition varies. But French Open quarterfinalist. She's Stuttgart finalist before getting injured. I think it was final before getting injured against Ego. It might have been a semi-final actually. But anyway, she's good on this surface, and we might get that. That'd be a nice romantic second round. Not sure I would quite bill it as a revenge mission. If it was a final, then you could, but second round, not quite. So I'm going to go with no. We're not going to get Pegula against Frech. And then are we going to get Keys Kenin?
No.
I think Kenin could make the third round. I think Keys could as well. I'll go yes. Again, with 2 qualifiers in there.
I'm going to go no, simply because I still feel Kenin's is very unpredictable in what she's going to do.
Yeah.
But
it's a nice draw.
She can
is a nice draw.
She could very easily make round 3 without really any sort of issues. But, Kenin's one of those people that I struggle to picture what their game's going to look like that day when they walk out on court. Do you know what I mean? So
if I was Madison Keys and Sofia Kenin right now, I'd be going, do you know what? If I bring it, I'm probably in round 4. That's what I'd be thinking if I was them. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but especially as we don't know who the qualifiers are. Okay, Haddad Meyer, Navarro.
They're currently playing right now.
Oh, are they?
I was going to say.
Yeah.
In Strasbourg, right?
Yeah, it's 5-all, and Navarro's just breaking for 6-5 in the second, and will serve for it.
Okay.
6-3 in the first, and then just broke at 6-5.
Are they going to play twice in the space of 8 or 9 days? I'm going
yes.
I'm going no.
yes.
I'm going no. I think Baptiste is.
The Haddad Meyer draw is tricky. Yeah. So I'm going no. And Navarro's good, but this is clearly her third favorite surface. Are we getting Krejcikova against Alexandrova? The problem with some of these players that are coming back, like Krejcikova, like Badosa, and like Vondrousova, 3 players that would probably be in a power ranking top 10 and maybe even a mix to win the title, depending on where they were at. Those 3 players just haven't played any tennis this year, barely. I mean, Badosa has.
I think Kudermetova takes out Krejcikova second round. I think.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to go with no because I think even Bronzetti could end up beating Alexandrova as well. Are we going to get Kalinskaya against Coco Gauff? I'm going... Yeah.
I'm going yes. More confident yes.
It's quite a nice draw for Gauff as well. I mean, you might get a sticky one in the first couple of rounds.
Quite a nice draw.
Yeah.
But
all right, let's have a quick go through the men's draw, and then we'll come to some of these previews. Let's see if I can get the men's draw up pretty quickly. Still people... Okay, lots of people suggesting that Federer will be at the French Open ceremony for Rafa Nadal, which I think is going to take place on Sunday. Let's see if I can get French Open draw up for the men. João Fonseca against Hubert Hurkacz certainly was one of the ones to look out for. Sinner gets Rinderknecht. Are we going to get Sinner against ADF? Oh, that's a tough one for ADF. Let's imagine he gets a really tricky qualifier. I don't know, a Marin Cilic or someone. Just trying to think who would be a super. No, Landalusa is out. Borna Coric is out, of course. But there's loads of tricky players that come through qualifying that win 3 matches without dropping a set and are hitting the ground running. And then you've got Lehecka or Thompson. before you potentially play Yannick Sinner.
Yeah, it should be Foki.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you going
agree.
Foki?
I am.
Yep.
I'm going. No, he doesn't make round 3.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well,
I love
Sinner's going out to ring Ignesh first round. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Or Gasquet in the second round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to get Rublev Fils? Just because we don't have many now. Oh, Munar. Yeah.
No, I think yes.
I mean, I'd probably even
yes.
favor Ugo Carabelli in that one, but yeah, I'm gonna go with yes as well.
I'm going yes. I'm going yes, and I probably would back Feast if they play each other right now, but a lot can change between now and then. Demon Nor Mensik, are we getting that? Well, I think I know your answer, both of you.
No.
Yeah, no.
Should be no, considering what you said to me earlier.
Yeah, it'll be Muller, Demon Nor.
I'm going with Mensik.
It'll be.
But Jera, Bublik?
That's a. You don't want to see that in round 1. I mean, obviously it's all health related, but
yeah,
Jerry loves the clay.
Yeah. I'm going to go yes, but I completely understand. Not just because of the Muller factor, but so many other factors in there as well. Are we going to get Hurkacz Draper? I have a very clear answer on this one.
No.
No, I think so too. It's all about the Fonseca match, though, really. Because if he wins that, then suddenly you probably are looking at Hurkacz Draper third round. Okay, are we going to get Zverev Felix?
No.
I'm going no. Oh, De Jong there. Hopefully he's fit, because I know he was injured in Rome. He finished his match against Sinner, but anyway, Brenner, we're going to get Zverev?
I'll go no.
I'll go no.
Yeah,
Can't trust Felix on this surface. Fran, Sarundalo, Grigor, Dimitrov. Are we getting that? We just don't know who the qualifiers are.
I'm gonna favor the qualifiers here. I'm gonna go with no.
I'm gonna go yeah.
I don't trust Dimitrov right now.
Yeah, could be back-to-back qualifiers. I'm gonna go yes though. Although Sarundalo, Grigspor, second round. If Grigspor beats Gil, of course.
Yeah.
I'll go yes though. Medvedev, Humbert. Are we getting that?
No.
Go for it, Fergus.
No, because Norrie's going to beat Medvedev in 5.
Of course he is. If it does go 5, I might be swinging. I mean, obviously, it depends on how the match is going. But yeah, I can understand that. But no, Medvedev is winning against Norrie in straights. And are we getting it? Yeah. Just not. I don't like Humbert on clay necessarily, but yeah, the draw's not bad for him. Are we getting Chapo against Novak?
No.
I think we are.
Yeah. Give me Pedro Martinez.
No, I think we get Chapo Novak. Yeah, around.
Yeah, Chapo's okay. Had match points against Nadal in Rome, and then beat him. I think a year later, albeit that was obviously a limp Nadal. But all right, are we getting Musetti Nakashima?
No,
we're getting Musetti. We're getting Musetti.
We're getting Musetti. Navone Musetti. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say we're not getting it, but we will get Musetti. Are we getting Mahatch Runa? Mahatch has been injured, hasn't he, recently?
He just retired.
He retired yesterday against Norrie.
Didn't look good. He was striking the ball great, but just wasn't moving.
He took an MTO end of the second. Norrie was 5-2 up, and then
Holger, we're getting there, I think.
Yeah, I think we are getting Holger.
He doesn't do anything stupid, end up getting a needless 5-setter with someone.
Kaboli again, even though it won't happen. Even though it can't happen.
Bocek will push him too.
Yeah.
But no, I'm saying we should be getting Runa there, probably without dropping a set. RBA falls into this unusual category of Spaniards that's probably ranked clay as their weakest surface. And although I think he's had a win or two in Hamburg this week, but
he's playing today.
Yeah, if he's playing someone good, he's losing. Sorry, RBA.
He's currently playing Kaboli, and it's 1-1 in a first set tiebreak.
Oh, okay, 1-0. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go with no, primarily just because of Mahatch's injury concerns, but also Kecmanovic could do him, depending on what mood Kecmanovic is in. Mm-hmm. Tiafoe Korda.
No. I don't
Tiafoe
think so.
beats Safiullin, but does he beat PCB or
I'm gonna
Commissar?
go
Or
with no.
Commissana? No, I don't think so.
And Korda could lose to Darderi. I'd call that maybe a 50-50. Mickelson, Fritz, are we getting that? I've got a pretty clear
No.
No.
I'm going no. Mickelson could lose to a qualifier or lucky loser. I just don't know who it is. So, if just statistically, he's probably a favorite there, but probably a 60-40. Mickelson against Camille or Hamad. I think he could
Don't
be
like
done.
it.
Yeah, I think he could be done there. And as for Taylor, could lose to
Could lose
any of those
Dalmar.
three. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not. I know I got reacted in a way saying it's a chance for Altmaier. I mean, if Altmaier is going to be playing a seed in the first round, despite there being 31 other options, Taylor would be near the top of that list.
Well, yeah, especially if you're going to have to play a top tenner.
Yeah, if you're going to play a top tenner, Taylor is number one.
Fritz is number one on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, ahead of probably De Minaur maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm going no for that. I think we all are.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, final section. Are we getting Casper against Popperin?
Yes.
Likely.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
For me, it's about Tabilo's health, which is a huge question mark. I even think he might. There's something I read about. There's two things I read. First of all, there was a South American media outlet that put it out there saying that he's pulling out. Tabilo responded quite angrily, saying this is just fake news, or annoyed, I would say, rather than angry. But then something else I saw was that Tabilo, is there some pressure on him to play this tournament? I forget. Other than the fact it's just a French Open.
Was there another story about his father, or is that another player?
Oh, that is him. Yeah, that is another story. Yeah, that is another story. But so lots going on with Alejandro at the moment. But he was in really bad form until about 2 months ago, and then he started picking up wins again.
Well, he had
because he was doing really well until August of last year, and then suddenly went off and then came back again.
He had a lot of points to defend this year in Rome and didn't. So
I saw there was some contractual thing. It might even be that he has a sponsor that's, I don't know, that was.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation.
Very keen to play. I mean, that was listen, media gets it wrong all the time. We saw it with Yannick Sinner this week and stuff, and people getting very annoyed about that, the way it came out. I mean, I saw one journalist who was saying, "Oh, this shows you that," and she may have a point about half the people that were reporting it, but ultimately it's the source. I mean, I retweeted it, for example, because I saw it out there. But anyway, it is what it is. So Tabilo, I'm going to go with we're not going to get it. We're not going to get Popperin against Casper. But depends on who the qualifiers are.
Mm-hmm.
I think Casper against Nuno is a nice-ish matchup for Casper, albeit a slightly trickier opponent than he could have had in round two. But Popperin, huge question marks for me. Hatchenoff, Tommy Paul, are we getting that?
We should.
Yeah.
I think so. I think so. But Offner? Yeah. Struff, if he, as I say, Struff, the 2023 Struff probably is going deep in this tournament. But
right.
Karen Offner, I reckon, probably goes 5. But I think Karen comes through. Offner still kind of making his way back onto the tour after so long off stage.
I'll go yes as well, because Karen doesn't get upset very often. Maybe he doesn't get bothered very often either, but he also doesn't get beaten that often. I know he's had 1 or 2 injury issues last year, but he is coming back to form. So I say yes. Are we getting Ben Shelton, Stefanos Tsitsipas?
No. I'm going to go with no.
I think no. This is not me here calling a win for Echeverri, but it's saying it's so close that then you throw in another match against a potential qualifier or lucky loser, and then you throw in the fact that Shelton's got Sonego, followed by potentially a qualifier or a Frenchman. I'm going no for that.
I'm going no too.
Final one. Are we getting GMP against Carlos Alcaraz?
Yes, for one reason and one reason only. If it was Marjan that Pericard had in round 2, then I would say no.
By the way, Marujan
Sorry.
Alcaraz, that's something I had not seen before.
Yeah. But I think because it's Marujan Alcaraz instead of Marujan Pericard, I think we will get Pericard.
I think we're not getting that third round. But not because Marujan beats Alcaraz. Although it's not impossible. We know it.
Are you serious? Are you really saying that Marujan beats...
No, not over 5 sets, especially.
I think Carlos would come out and actually destroy him. Is it only that one match that they played?
They've played a couple of times since. At least
Okay,
I think they played at least once in Indian Wells, and Carlos won fairly comfortably in straights. Did they play again on clay? Maybe somewhere, maybe even Rome. No, trying to think if they played again. I thought they did. Let's have a quick look. Alcaraz, Marujan.
Maybe elsewhere in the world, I feel like it would be a little bit more competitive. But if they met here.
It's also that there's two or three other things. First of all, Alcaraz is 1-1, yeah, so they've only played each other twice. Alcaraz is even better than he was then, and he was very, very, very good then.
He is red.
There's not going to be any sort of surprise factor and get caught cold. There was also, I think, one of those 2 sets was a tie break. Alcaraz still goes on to reach the French Open semi-finals a couple of weeks later, or 3 or 4 weeks later, before he has that calf issue or the cramps against Djokovic, and it's 5 sets. And Alcaraz over 5 sets is, I don't think he's getting beaten in straights either by Fabian. So once it goes long, I mean, Fabian could take a set, maybe even the first one, but I'm going no because I just think Jamur maybe. Jamur could be that third round opponent for Alcaraz.
I just want to, if Tsitsipas is beaten by Echeverry, will that be 3 slams in a row where he's gone out first round? Kokonakis in the US.
He's always going out in the US early. So did he go out in the US Open first round last year?
Yeah, to Kokonakis, and then first round to Mickelson in Australia.
I've since he got to the final of the Australian Open in 23, I just feel as though he's had a bunch of early exits. In fact, even in 2022, didn't he go out in the US Open first round as well? Losing a 6-love en route to a loss against somebody. Not Gilles. Was it maybe another American?
He lost to Stricker the following year.
In 23.
Second round, I would say.
I can't remember who he had in Wimbledon last year.
I know he lost to maybe Safi Yulin. Was it the year before? I'm not sure. Wimbledon 2024, Tsitsipas. He got to the second round before losing to Emil Rusevori. Yeah.
Yes, I was there. I was there the day that happened. Yes, I remember.
There we go. Cool. So let's get into some of these matches, and let's start with Emma Raducanu against Wong. What do you think of that as a draw for Emma, Fergus?
I mean, it's Iga again, isn't it, really? Is what... Obviously, she has to focus on her first round match. Obviously, that's the big one right now.
No, I just mean, what do you think of playing Wong as an opponent?
Oh, yeah. No, not bad. There are definitely it's a match she should feel as though if the back's not a problem for her, then she can come through quite easily, save up some of her energy before having to, fully focus on Iga. Not that she won't have to fully focus on Wang, but that's a match that I would expect her to come through. And I feel like this season, this second half of this season that she's played already, those matches that you kind of expect her to come through, she has. Obviously, start of the season, she had a terrible run of form. And, kind of she's in this clay season, after that quarterfinal run in Miami, she's kind of switched her season around. So, the match that she has been expecting to win, she has won. So I'm thinking that this isn't a bad sort of situation for her. So, but then it's obviously then Iga in round 2, and we all know her head-to-head event against Iga is it 4 or 5 love, but
Yeah, not sure. But what are your thoughts on this? Because I think I tend to agree with Fergus Brenner that there could have been much worse as an unseeded player in Emma's situation. There could be much worse opponents for her to come up against. I mean, they have played each other once before on the hard court in Linz, indoor hard, I think that is, isn't it? It went 3 sets, hard court. Raducanu, that's her domain, hard court and arguably grass. But clay, I have seen. I know sometimes I'm wary of people, whether they be journalists or experts or otherwise, and they go, "Oh, Raducanu's looking so much better on the clay these days, and she's moving so well." But I have gone in with an objective and maybe even a cynical view on this when I've watched her play, and then I'm like, she is defending really well on this surface in this particular moment. And although I'm not here predicting a Raducanu French Open win, I think I am predicting a first-round win against Wong.
I'm predicting a first-round win against Wong. I think, these are both hard court players. Like, Wong's a big ball striker, and clay is obviously not her preferred surface. So that's kind of like the only reason here. But I don't know, if we're thinking about Emma's draw as a whole, it's time to start prepping for grass season.
Which I'm sure she will happily do.
Yeah.
So
there's an image of them at the net. They're in Linz. Anyway, both of us are erring towards them. She might drop a set, but I think she's also playing a bit more solid than normal. That might just be what she's doing on clay. She might hopefully return to the sort of all or nothing tennis that I think can still give her some great results on grass and also on the hard court. But for now, maybe just playing a bit more solid and getting some good wins and get herself up the rankings. So that way she goes into slams as a seed. But I think on this occasion, seeded or otherwise, that's not a bad first round for Emma. So I think we're all going for Emma. I'll go Emma in 3.
Emma in 2.
I'll go 2.
Okay, cool. Okay, Alex Ayala is going to be playing Arango. Now, did any of you do any homework on Arango?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Arango a few times. It's been a while, but more of a natural clay courter. She's a grinder. Not a lefty, so we'll have the diversity there. But I think this should be a pretty heavy match in terms of long rallies.
Yeah.
And I think Ayala's going to try and play like strike first tennis, as she does, be aggressive. So
Ayala, yes, funny. I can't quite put her in a category in terms of aggression or otherwise, because I think she starts the point on the return often, especially if it's a very attackable. She's there and she's going for it and she's hugging the baseline and just trying to get on top of the rally. If, of course, she doesn't get that, then it's a bit more conservative, let's say, from Alex, especially as she probably doesn't have all the weapons in the world with which to get up in the rally and start, striking the ball in a sort of a Sabalenka way. I think it's a really tricky one to call. Arango has recently reached a career high of 79 just a couple of months ago for the 24-year-old. Honestly, it's guesswork. But although I don't fancy Ayala on this surface, I think she did at least show something in Madrid against, Iga Swiatek, albeit maybe she undid some of that not quite good work, but in terms of reputation by losing so badly to Kostyuk in Rome. But I think Kostyuk is obviously a formidable opponent. But I don't know if you've got any thoughts, Fergus, before we move on.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call. I feel as though it could go. It's just going to be long, but I feel like that momentum that both of them will start bringing after the first set, I feel as though it's going to be crucial just in terms of momentum. These two, I feel like, thrive off of that, like that momentum to keep going in after winning that first set. So I think it will be in straights, actually, but it could be either in straights, to be honest. I feel like whoever wins the first set will win in straights.
Yeah, Arango did get, it looks like a win. Did she get one win in the Italian Open against Jean, who retired down 3-love in the third set? It looks like, did she withdraw from her match though against Mboko? Maybe in the round of 16.
In Parma.
Oh, that's Parma, is it? Oh, I'm getting confused in the tournaments. Yeah. So yeah, Arango had a decent straight sets win over Stakusic though. Also in Parma, I think. Mira Andreeva lost to her in straights. Was that in Rome? Maybe.
Correct.
Yeah.
So she lost there in Rome. I'm looking at the WTA website, which is honestly an absolute mess, trying to work out where some of these matches took place, because it's all it's got one of those matches down as the Rome Open, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, she went down in 3 in the end in Parma in the round of 32 to Friedsam.
Yeah, I mean, I guess final thoughts. I think it's gonna be tight. Maybe you give a slight edge to Arango in terms of surface. So slow. So that's where she kind of has the edge in terms of making these rallies physical, playing that extra ball. Let's see if Yala is able to, finish off those points.
I'll go Arango as well. Just it's I know a lot more about Ayala, as you can imagine, having watched her close up. I think she's a long way off being a clay quarter, despite I think that match against Iga may have deceived us a little bit. We may see a few more losses than wins for her on this surface in the coming years. So I'm going to finally go Arango, but as you can tell, not really convinced either way. Okay, let's move on to our next encounter, which will be two players that we know quite a bit about. And if you don't know a lot about them, then maybe go and do some homework and come back in 6 months. But Paula Badosa against Naomi Osaka. Can either of you guess their head-to-head, Brenna?
No, I can't, but
We'll guess
let's go 3-2 Osaka.
What do you go?
I was going to go 3-1 Osaka. Is it like
they have not played? Oh, hang on a second. No, they have.
It's WTA website, so who knows?
Yeah,
I know. I've got this anyway. Naomi Osaka is a 1-0 head-to-head against Paula Badosa.
Okay.
They played once. Osaka winning in 3 sets at the Ningbo Open.
Right.
I don't even remember that particular match.
Was that last year?
This is just. This is AI maybe responding.
I don't know if they've ever played.
Oh dear! Now I've got Badosa against Schneider. Of course, that's classic WTA stuff. Let's look for Osaka. They might not have played.
No, they've never played.
Wow, that's wild.
That's
wild for two players as established as that. I mean, I'm not sure what Naomi's age is. Maybe she's 28. Is she?
She is
27. And Paula Badosa is, I'm going to say 26, but
she's 27 as well.
27. So two 27-year-olds who've been in the, going deep at many tournaments. It's kind of crazy that they've never played each other. But here we are. They have not ever played each other, and they're going to play each other for the first time in round 1 at the French Open. Now, of course, Badosa, when did she sort of last? I mean, she's playing, obviously, today in Strasbourg, but when did she last play seriously? Maybe Indian Wells, or did she play Miami?
Naomi Osaka?
Sorry, Badosa. My bad.
Oh, Badosa. Yeah. It's been quite a while. I think
she withdrew from Indian Wells. It looks like maybe even before the tournament got underway.
It was Miami. She played in Boca. I remember.
So she skipped Indian Wells and played Miami. Okay. Then she withdrew from her match against Ayala. Of course she did. Yeah. And then I remember seeing pictures of her threatening a comeback from Madrid, that she was practicing there in Madrid and targeting that match, obviously being in her homeland. Then she didn't make that. She didn't make Rome either. And here we are. So she's coming up against, of course, Naomi Osaka, who has been playing a lot of tennis of late, winning a 1-2-5 in France recently, her first tournament on clay. We all remember, of course, Naomi's run last year in terms of that match, that unbelievable match against Iga Swiatek. Many people was the match of the year when she had match points, or at least one match point, and also
3.
served for it. She had 3 match points, did she? Okay.
I think she did.
Okay. Anyway, she had at least one or maybe two or three.
One.
I thought it was one, but
It's
either
just
way,
one.
I might be thinking of something else. Sorry.
and it might even have been on Iga's serve, that one, because I think when she
Yes. Oh no, it was the one on Iga's serve, and then Iga held, and then Osaka couldn't serve it out. Yeah.
Right.
I think
double faulted for the break.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love
yeah.
forward
Maybe something like that. Yeah.
But Fergus, where are we at for this match?
I think because of how much Badosa just hasn't been on court recently. Obviously, she's playing against Strasbourg this week, but hasn't been on court recently. You know, match fitness might not all be there, and Osaka's, I feel like, is going to make this physical. You know, she's going to make this as physical as possible, and I feel like Osaka's kind of got this one, just has the edge. Kind of, this is a big match in terms of both of their seasons, right? I mean, they've both had pretty steady seasons so far, taking away injuries. But yeah, I'm gonna say Osaka in 3. Probably, she's kind of refinding that fighting spirit that she had. And yeah, she's had some tough losses this season, but I feel like this is maybe one that she comes through. These two are actually born a day apart on the same year.
Wow.
Yeah, 15th and 16th of November, 1997.
Okay, how about that? Well, November birthdays it is, but which one will we celebrate? I'm going to go with Naomi. Great. Badosa's just not played enough to give me any other suggestion. And Naomi is playing, and she can get good results. She has some good results in Rome. She obviously won that 1-2-5 as well. So it's not quite a winning streak, but it's a good, healthy run of wins on the clay. What do you think, Brenna?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I just don't really have enough of a body of work at this point, and Osaka has at least checked some boxes for me thus far. So I guess my true thought is like, okay, I'm gonna watch this Badosa match and see how she's moving and kind of just get a feel for where she's at. But yeah, I mean, right now, all things considered, you have to at least give the edge to Osaka because of her form and health.
Indeed. Okay, let's move on to Belinda Bencic against Elena Rybakina. Brenner, is this the tie of the round on all sides of the draw, men's and women's?
Yeah, I mean, Bencic always kind of produces these types of difficult matchups for these type of players. Rybakina, obviously, I feel like she's still searching for that form, but here you go. She's making a nice little run in Strasbourg. That is. So I mean, I always will favor Rybakina, but yeah, Bencic is that player that just causes issues.
Yeah, I've just seen Rybakina play really well, I think. I mean, and she still has room for improvement. Magdalene maybe not the most challenging opponents for Elena, especially on the clay, but I saw her forehand and occasionally backhand firing. I saw the return really doing some damage. Lynette's second serve is very attackable. I think Bencic probably is a slightly better server all round than Magda is. So that's not necessarily something we can necessarily take into this matchup. And it is a 2-1 head-to-head. Fergus, what are your thoughts on this Bencic-Rybakina match?
Yeah, obviously Bencic coming back this year and had an absolutely outrageous sort of return. Winning the title in Abu Dhabi. As in, I think it was her second WTA main draw event. And obviously she won the 500, she kind of came straight back into the fray. And yeah, I feel as though it's going to be interesting if Rybakina starts to, if that forehand starts to fade in a sense, then we could see Bencic right in this match, not game. But yeah, I feel as though Rybakina still holds the edge, even though, Rybakina is still trying to find her feet back after injury. I still feel like she holds that edge if she's all there mentally and physically.
Actually, that Abu Dhabi title, which I think Bencic won earlier this year, did include a semi-final win over Elena Rybakina on the hard court there.
Yeah, who was defending champion, wasn't she, this year?
Yeah, right. Indeed, she was. Yes.
Yeah, important to note that Bencic did retire in Rome I don't know what the reason was, but
good point. Yeah. Good point. I was against Sakkari here, Genius Sanya. I was leaning just 52-48, probably before seeing the match today of Rybakina and seeing that she's got a couple of wins and she may well, make the final, for example, in Strasbourg. She may even win the title there, which I think generally is okay as long as you don't, expend too much energy. And then throw in the fact that Bencic, since that really good return around the February time in the Middle East, and then throw in the retirement that you highlight against Sakkari. Just every little thing is just pushing me a little bit towards a Rybakina win. I'm going to go in straight sets, actually.
I've always thought how it's interesting to see how those perform a week before a slam, as in how they perform in the actual slam if they do win a title in a different, place. I mean, Casper won Geneva 3 years in a row, and in 2 of those he made the final of the slam the next week, right? So I made the semis last year. So yeah, but it's always interesting. I think I'll go with Rybakina in 3. If Bencic is there physically, obviously she did retire in Rome, but if she's feeling fine and she's obviously had a little bit of time to recover, she must have had 2.5 weeks now. So yeah, if she's okay physically, then I think it will go 3. But yeah, I'll go Rybakina.
And Brenna?
Rybakina.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to our final women's preview match. We're going to go down and have a look at Iga Swiatek against Srankova. Now, Fergus, you highlighted that this was, it's probably lost a little bit in the weeds in terms of the fact that we've often looked at Swiatek's path, including a potential 4th round with Ostapenko, potential quarterfinal with Jasmine Paolini, potential semi-final of Sabalenka, and potential final of Goff, and even her 2nd round potentially is Emma Raducanu, and 3rd round was
Kostyuk.
So we've just looked at that. So many of those are like, oh my goodness me, it's just getting harder and harder as you would expect, but really hard, particularly that Kostyuk. That is really tricky for her, I think. And yet maybe we just sort of overlook the fact that Srankova is not the one that you would pick for sure in the first round, right, Fergus?
No, absolutely. I mean, she's a very tricky opponent. She kind of can cause trouble for everyone. She's a big ball striker, and when she's, sometimes it can take her a little while to get going, but as soon as she does, things click pretty quickly, and it can get, because when the ball starts rolling, it's kind of hard to stop, right? But Iga just doing what Iga does at Roland Garros, just asserting dominance on the match as soon as possible, getting that early break, even early double break, which is what she does seem to do so much of the time. So yeah, it's going to be tough. There might be a close set in here, like a 6-4, but I think 6-4, 6-1 sounds about right to me for Iga. But it's a nice little early test for Iga, and I think that's what she wants in this sort of situation. She's obviously not been in good form. She doesn't want, she always has, she's had in every tournament this year, she's been either completely dominating, like 2-1, or she's lost in 3. She hasn't had a close win yet this year, so I feel like, just those sort of like tough wins where you have to grind out a set and then the second set's a bit easier will be good for her. So yeah, 6-4, 6-1 to Iga, I think.
Well, that's very specific on the scoreline, but that's fine. Brenna, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's a good opener for Iga. I don't see it necessarily in terms of like defending Iga in any way, but I just think this should be, fairly straightforward for her. I know I'm maybe speaking with some bias or Roland Garros bias, but I just think once Iga gets here, has the opportunity to, build up rhythm and confidence. She's here early, participating in the draw ceremony. It's just like gets your mind mentally ready. And when she gets on court, I just think she's going to be a different beast here. And obviously knowing how tough it is in terms of a potential run. Like she wants to get this one done and dusted as quick as possible. My quick words on Shrimkova is, as Fergus mentioned, big ball striker, has the ability to play with some variety and kind of rush you, but, ultimately, push Ostapenko in Rome. So I guess that's promising, but did lose to Lynette here in Strasbourg. So yeah, could be a little bit of back and forth, but yeah, fairly easy for me.
That one win, by the way, came this year for Iga in the round of 64. So not quite a mirror scenario, but second round in Australia this year. So yeah, I'm just trying to get up the score actually, but of course I've gone on the WTA website. This doesn't show anything. But yeah, they did play each other, and I think it was straight sets for Iga.
I think that was
0-2.
Oh yeah, wow, yeah.
I was about to say 3-1, but okay.
Yeah, and it was about an hour. I've seen 59 minutes. I've seen an hour. Do let me know in the live chat if you want to go watch that match all again. Start with your stopwatch. Let us know what time it does finish, and then comment below this video for sure, and let us know exactly how long it was. But yeah, I think that aligned with the fact that it's clay and Roland Garros and all the rest of it, despite Iga's somewhat underwhelming form of late. I also will go for Iga in straight sets. Finishing it with a forehand win across court. Fergus, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. Good. Nice. All right. Good. Let's move on to the men's side. We'll do Stefanos Tsitsipas against Echeverry, round 1. They don't come much tougher than this for Stefanos Tsitsipas against the former French Open quarter finalist, someone who's in action as well in the Argentinian in action right now in Hamburg, where he's awaiting his semi-final opponent because he's actually already beaten Comisania, Hugo Garabelli, and Lehecka en route to the semi-finals in Hamburg. So, yeah, I think this is a really tricky one for Stefanos. Do you agree, Brenner?
I do agree. I think it's, as we've seen, the early round majors for Tsitsipas are kind of always difficult at this point, and now you're getting a veteran Clay Corder who hasn't had the best season, but he's stacking up a few wins. Can that give him confidence? And I guess for Tsitsipas, like, you just have to go back to the basics, try and think as clearly as you can in your head. But I feel like these types of matchups have been difficult. Guys with really strong backhands, consistent players. That has caused issues for Tsitsipas, I guess, over the last 12 to 16 months.
Yeah, can Thomas basically get to the backhand of Stefanos? I think he can. Can he get there as often as others like to? I think maybe not. We're not quite talking about Nadal levels here in terms of finding it, especially at Roland Garros. Interesting. I think Nadal and Tsitsipas, I think they never played at Roland Garros.
Not at RG, I don't think.
No, they played in Barcelona, definitely. They played in Australia.
Yeah, that final, yeah.
Yeah, that final in Barcelona was epic. But yeah, tangent tick. Fergus, what are your thoughts on this upcoming first round?
Yeah, I mean, Tsitsipas has got to try put those last couple majors out of his head. Obviously, hasn't had a win yet in the majors in the last two attempts since Wimbledon. Yeah, and he only won one match. It's not like so. Yeah, it's. I feel as though if the backhand isn't, if the backhand is poked and prodded as much as Echeverry would like, then we could, see it break down quite quickly. But I'm just thinking back to that interview he did, Tsitsipas, where he's just saying how he has such little confidence in his forehand at the moment, which is his big weapon. Which is his big weapon, right? You take away his big weapon, he's got one of the best he's got such a big forehand when it's firing on tour. And when you take that away, you've got a backhand which is seriously below par in terms of tour average, and serve is very decent, but if things start breaking down, Echeverry can feel as though he's right in this match. So yeah, but I don't know. It's tough. I think it goes 5, and then I think in a 5th set, it's whoever. I think it's whoever's feeling it the most. If it's a long matchup, I think Steph probably comes through. As in, if we're hitting 4 hours, I think Steph probably comes through. But yeah, it's going to go 5, I think.
Their one encounter, so it's 1-0 head-to-head for Stefanos. Some good news for Stefanos is that it was a comfortable win. In fact, he lost just one game. I was just having a quick look to see if Echeverri was struggling physically in that, because it is a very lopsided result. I've yet to yield any certain results regarding that. By the way, hi, Tommy. Please do hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. That would be much appreciated. But yeah, it's difficult to tell. But it was in Monte Carlo, which is Stefanos's, pretty much best tournament. In fact, not pretty much, without a shadow of a doubt.
It is his best tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where he excels most. But I think now the dust has settled. Looking at that first round being super, super tricky for him. It's also very, very tricky for Echeverri too. And I think I'm leaning Stefanos. Maybe not in 5, but in 4. What about you, Brenner?
Oh, gosh. I mean, to be honest, I'm not. Maybe you've talked me into leaning Echeverri.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know. That's not your fault, but maybe it is.
I mean, I'm going Stefanos in the end in 4.
Right. You are.
It was just the when it sort of comes out and you're like,
Yeah.
Stefanos probably along with Rublev, along with Hurkacz, along with Dimitrov is one of those sort of big names that are like, they really do need an easy first round or 2.
All right. You don't really want to play, Echeverri. You don't want to see him in the draw, so that makes sense. But yeah, I am with you. I'll go 5. Stefanos in 5.
Stefanos in 5 sets. Okay, let's move on to our penultimate one that we're going to hone in on, which is Muller against Mensik. Interestingly, since I posted in the Talking Tennis WhatsApp group, do let us know your predictions in the live chat, by the way, for Muller against Mensik. I'll try and refer to them at some point or another. 4 people have voted for Mensik and just 1 for Muller. And you are the one who's gone for Muller, Brenner. So tell us why Muller's winning this match.
Well, I mean, I'll start with the backhand battle. Or I've talked about Mensik kind of being a baby Zverev in a sense, where, the forehand wing is the weaker side and the backhand is just so solid. I feel like we saw yesterday the match between Mueller and Zverev where the backhand just broke down. Essentially, it just wasn't there, and Mueller's able to take advantage of that and really expose Zverev. Now, it's important to think about the mental state of Zverev in Hamburg a week before Roland Garros. Should he be there? That's a question in and of itself, which I did think affected the match. But I think just kind of Mueller's progression on the surface and his ability to hit with spin and depth on the forehand wing, and then kind of using the backhand for offense. But he has that ability to rush you, but he can also grind. And I think for Mensik, it's really going to test his kind of tolerance in a sense. And that's why I think maybe over a longer match, that could become more difficult for Mensik.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going Mensik. Not with any, I get everything you're saying. I just think of some of the performances from Mensik, even on clay, such as in Madrid, against Bublik, for example, we're just like, wow, this guy is, as Bublik joked in that particular match, this guy is not even top 10, but he was playing top 10 tennis that day. Muller, I've seen him up close in Rio. I saw him, I was made aware, funnily enough, of his backhand just a few hours before Muller's encounter with Fonseca. It was like, I think I asked the Tennis Insights guys, what's the exchange going to be that could favor Muller? And it was clearly the backhand to backhand. That did in a way manifest itself in that particular match, but also in Muller's run to the final. You highlight the backhand again, rightly so here. And it certainly did some damage for him against Zverev, albeit that I think Zverev may have been having some physical ailments, nothing too serious to worry about, but I think he had a temperature the night before, etc. I'm going Mensik, though. What about you, Fergus?
I don't know. Serve's obviously a very big, as Dave literally just points out, the serve is a big weapon for Mensik. And Yeah, obviously the clay kind of slows it up a little, especially here in Paris. But I don't know. I kind of back Muller in a longer circumstance. Obviously, Mensik had lots of Mensik is a lot more experienced in a 5-setter, and we keep drawing the comparison of Mensik Fonseca, don't we? And in terms of 5-setters, Mensik is far superior in terms of longevity and ability to keep going when the going gets tough in that 5th set. But I just feel as though Muller's got that physical edge maybe over him if it does go long, and I kind of in that grinding sort of manner, I feel like that might frustrate Mensik, and he could overhit on both wings. But it's going to be tight. But I am going to go Muller, and I'm not going to tell you in how many because I can't tell you. I don't know, but I feel like he just will get over the line.
Fair enough. Any final words on this, Brenner, before we move on to our last match? I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fergus, hopefully I didn't persuade you at all. I mean, Mensik is the far superior player and will have a much better career, I think.
Oh yeah,
But,
no, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mensik, I'm still, we're still learning more about him on slow clay, and yeah, I mean, another big tournament where he has an opportunity to make a run. So it should be exciting, and it should be a tough first round clash. I think that's what we're getting at.
That poll regarding Mensik and Muller has now moved slightly. FC Fergus has got his vote in, so it's 5-2 for Mensik. Myself, Biola, Carson, Eddie, and James all going for Mensik, whereas you two are the two that have gone for Muller. Let's just see if anyone says anything in the live chat of note.
I just wanted to
definitely say his serve is better than Muller's. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I don't know who said it, but we were talking about Hajjaj Maya versus Navarro. Navarro obviously serving for it, 6-5. It's now was broken back. Hajjaj Maya won the tiebreak and is now 3-1 up. Well, was 3-1 up in the third. 3-2 up in the third.
40-15
with the break. Yeah.
Okay. Final match that I want us to hone in on is João Fonseca against Hubert Hurkacz. Again, maybe for many on the men's side, this is the one of note. The polls I'm referring to, Terry, are actually in the WhatsApp group that we're in at Talking Tennis. However, there is one on Twitter. In fact, there's more than one. But here is one of note on Twitter for you to look at, which is Fonseca against Hurkacz, which I've just published probably about, 20 minutes ago, maybe less, 10 minutes ago. And we've already got quite a few votes in already. 61-39 is the balance. That almost feels about right. Well, we'll come to that shortly. Fonseca against Hurkacz. What are your thoughts on this, Brenner?
Yeah, I mean, this is an amazing match. First round match at Roland Garros. You got two players coming in kind of at different stages in the clay season. For Hurkacz, just returning, looking a lot better physically.
Definitely.
Comes through a thriller against Mensik in Rome.
Yeah.
And I think the two things that are important is his backhand holding up really well, and kind of just like tolerance as a whole. And obviously, the biggest weapon being the serve, still finding his range there. And then for Fonseca, I guess a little bit of a letdown in terms of what we had going into the clay season. But, he's got one more shot at it. And, it's the biggest event where it'll be the most eyes watching. And that's, an exciting opportunity for him and all tennis fans to kind of just be involved with and feel that energy and the atmosphere that he brings. And I think we're looking at a clash tennis-wise. So much power from both players, and two players that like to play on top of the rally. Hubie does like to play aggressive, get to the net when he can. He trusts himself so well at the net. He has really good hands. And then for Fonseca, just trying to hit as many forehands as he can, and I guess make it physical. I feel like he does have that advantage. So it'll be an interesting clash, and looking forward to it.
Serve return. Hurkacz's serve versus Fonseca's return may well be where this encounter is won and lost. I'll come to my prediction shortly. Fergus, what are your thoughts when you first saw this draw?
Yeah, it's almost like it feels so. Obviously, Rublev was a top 10 player in Australia, but it feels so similar in a sense to this Rublev Fonseca matchup. I've kind of changed my mind in the last 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna favor Hubie.
Okay.
I just feel as though Fonseca hasn't taken me this clay season by storm as much as I was thinking he would have, especially when he got that win over Rublev in Australia. Like that's a bit, and then obviously he won the title in Argentina. It kind of was. I was kind of expecting it to hit me like a hurricane, almost like how he'd start running through players and kind of do what Mensik did, but we just haven't got to that point yet. He's still super early in his career. Like there's no need for anything to be questioned at this point. But I just think Hubie's kind of finding his form again. Obviously, he made a run in Rome. He's still in Geneva playing his quarterfinal today. Yeah, I think I'll favor Hubie in 4, actually. But listen, it's going to be a great match. I think it's going to be pretty high quality. I mean, the forehands are both super strong. And yeah, if Hubie can get to the net, but you know, you were saying how if Hubie can come to the net, it will be he trusts himself there. But I think that's kind of what Fonseca wants him to do in a sense. He wants to bring him forward and pass him at the net. I mean, he's a big guy, obviously. He's 6'6", 7", something like that.
At least, yep.
Yeah. So, but I feel like Fonseca almost wants it on his forehand, pass at the net, and then, you know, gets the crowd involved. I 100% think the crowd will be all over Fonseca's back, behind him. So,
you mean
support him? Support him, not on his back, as in.
I think you'll get plenty of Brazilians in Paris.
Yeah. So yeah, but I'm gonna go Hubie in 4.
Okay. And what are you predicting then for Werner?
I like Fonseca in 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning that way too, despite his sketchy form against De Jong. Obviously, we're seeing that on the screen right now, where he lost in Estoril, lost to Tommy Paul in Madrid. And in fact, that was sort of that tiebreak, and he was obviously very close to at least getting a set and maybe even going on to beat Tommy there, is kind of where his clay season started to unravel. Pretty early on as well, because that was his first tournament. It was the one that maybe many of us thought he would do most damage at in terms of his serve and the way maybe he would enjoy the altitude there in Madrid. But going out early there, and then this loss to De Jong, and then in Rome, who did he lose to there? Someone remind me. Marozsan, of course. Tricky first round opponent. But again, those 3 losses in a row to Tommy Paul and to De Jong, followed by Marozsan, have certainly sort of shaken some of our thoughts about him on clay. In fact, here he is talking on Talking Tennis here, where we've got him speaking in Portuguese, but he does highlight how maybe right now a hard court is still a slightly better surface for him, despite that 250 tournament win in Buenos Aires that I think came to him as a bit of a surprise in his learning curve. However, all of that aside, I think 5 sets actually, despite his tender years, you know, sometimes we think of 5 sets, obviously, if it's a young and against an old, and you would probably favor the young and over 5 sets if it goes that way. But then there's the other reverse effect. You've got players like Sinner and Rune as well that have often struggled early on over 5 sets, particularly physically. So it can kind of go both ways. And maybe there's a peak of sort of 20 to 25 years old, which Zhao, still very young, has not quite yet reached. And yet I think he's going to be one of these players, a bit like Carlos, where we're going, oh, that helps. You know, maybe some of these losses he had over 5 sets, he turns it around. I mean, who knows with the mentality as well of how that Tommy Paul match might have gone. And yeah, I think that'll help him against Hubie, which still can't be trusted 100% physically. And by the way, is a close one. I think any result, a straight sets win for Hubie, a straight sets win for Zhao, or anything in between, is extremely feasible. But I'm going Zhao in 4. Brenner, any final thoughts?
I think, I wanted to add one more thing, and it pertains to kind of the best of 5, the major format. I think Australia or his experience in Australia will help him a bit here.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think he's the type of player where he's young. His level will fluctuate. He's such a big game, so offensive, so powerful. You're going to have lapses. So I think the opportunity to have time to find your rhythm, and it only, helps his confidence, is going to be important, especially playing someone like Kubi, who is a veteran and can kind of take the racket out of your hand with the serve. Not as much on this surface, but it can still happen. I think that will allow, time to either gain rhythm or allow time to get back into the match if he does go down.
All right. Final words, Fergus?
No, but I kind of agree with Brenner there that, his level could fluctuate from set to set, and, I could be very wrong in saying Hubie in 4, but yeah, it kind of makes me feel as though that Fonseca could have like this run of 4 games where he's just untouchable. He's landing every forehand. He's returning everything on the baseline, but then I just feel it's going to be interesting to see what outbalances the other. Whether Fonseca's lows are a lot worse than are low enough that the highs can't get him over the line. But yeah, it definitely see that his standards will fluctuate definitely throughout the match. But I expect him to at least at the very least take a set. Yeah.
That poll is closing, so maybe some people, Fergus, have been listening to your her catch suggestions. It's I think it was 60-40 at the beginning of our chat, and 6 votes later, and it's almost 50-50. So we'll see. There's 2 more days, as you can see, to vote in that one. We'll have to wait and see when these matches will take place, but it's another one to look forward to, along with several others in the French Open, which, of course, you can watch so many things on the channel. We'll be bringing you daily reviews. We'll be doing watch-alongs. We'll be doing analysis and previews, and just about anything French Open related possible, we will be doing it, and we'll be bringing it to you here on the channel. So after this epic episode of 2.5 hours or so, that began with a preview to the draw, and then the draw itself, and then a reaction as it happened, and then a chance to chill, and then some thoughts, and then final reflections. I am now about to bring this to a close. So Brenner, big thanks to you.
Thank you.
And as well to you, Fergus.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Cool. And now you know the truth. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.